used to. The message coming through is, you are perfect for me. And I feel like someone has finally admitted to themselves that you are not just important, you are their true love. This does not feel like a passing realization. This feels like a deep inner click, where confusion drops away and the heart sees clearly. Please just take what resonates for you, since this is a general love reading. You do not have to force anything that does not feel meant for your situation. All right, and you can also reverse the roles in the reading if you need to. Just place yourself where the energy feels natural for your connection. Let us start with you first and see where you are in this bond. Now let us look at what is happening in your heart when it comes to this person. Here is Judgment and the Nine of Wands and the Three of Swords. Wow. So I feel like your heart has been through a powerful awakening, but it is still protected. With Judgment, I feel like something inside you has already known that this bond was not ordinary. You may have tried to make it smaller, quieter, or easier to file away, but it kept coming back. It is almost like your spirit has been circling the same truth. There is something unfinished here. And something in you has known that for a while. With the Nine of Wands, though, I feel like you are careful now. You have learned from the past, and you do not open all the way unless a person proves they can hold your heart well. And then with the Three of Swords, I feel there is older hurt still echoing in your system. For some of you, this person took part in that hurt, and for others, it came from another story that still lives inside you. So your side feels like this. Yes, you feel the significance, but you are not willing to pretend the pain never happened. You may still care very deeply. But you also need truth, steadiness, and emotional safety before you can fully relax. Now let us look at their side, because this title is centered in their realization. We have the Hierophant and the Two of Wands. And the Page of Wands, wow, with the Hierophant, I feel like they have reached a more serious understanding of what this is. They are no longer trying to place you in some temporary or undefined category. This feels like a person who has come to a sacred conclusion inside themselves. You are not just someone they are drawn to, you are someone they could truly choose. With the Two of Wands, I feel they have been looking ahead. They are thinking about future direction, future possibility, and what it would mean to step toward you in a more official way. And then with the Page of Wands, I feel there is new life in them. The realization is making them want to speak, want to reach, and want to put warmth back into the space between you. So let us look at the shared energy, because this is where the depth of the message really opens. Here is the High Priestess. And the Five of Wands and the King of Pentacles with the High Priestess, I feel this bond has lived in silence for longer than it should have. There has been a quiet knowing, a psychic undercurrent, and a lot felt without enough being said. With the Five of Wands, I feel both of you have wrestled with what this all means. There has been inward conflict, emotional static, and too many thoughts moving under the calm. And then with the King of Pentacles, I feel the deeper truth under all of it. The bond wants substance, security, and a steady form. It is not satisfied staying vague anymore. Let us get one more layer here, and wow, here is trust. So I feel Spirit is saying you can trust what your intuition has been sensing, what they feel is not random, and it has been becoming clearer to them, not weaker. For them, here is friendship. And I love that, because it tells me their love is not only romantic, it is rooted in actual liking, comfort, and respect. For both of you, here is it is safe for you to love. Wow. So the opening message of this reading is very clear. They have finally crossed some inner threshold. And the threshold says, this is my true love. This is the person who fits me. This is the one I do not want to lose. This first section is the recognition. The soul level moment where their uncertainty breaks and their heart names you correctly at last. And I feel the reason this realization matters so much is because it changes everything that comes after. Once someone knows in their heart that you are their true love, they cannot go back to pretending you are ordinary. They may still be nervous, they may still be human, but the truth itself has already landed, and that truth is now shaping the way they look at you, think of you, and move toward you. Let us go deeper into your side now, because your experience matters just as much as their realization. When someone suddenly knows your worth, it can stir joy, fear, and disbelief all at once. Here is the Magician and the Ten of Cups reversed, and the Three of Pentacles. Wow. So I feel your mind has been trying to stay measured, even while your heart has been picking up that something is changing. With the Magician, I feel you have been very intentional with your energy. You may not show all of what you feel, and you may be doing your best to stay composed no matter what this person does. With the Ten of Cups reversed, I feel there has been caution around expecting too much. Part of you may have wanted the dream, but another part of you refused to build it without clearer proof. And then with the Three of Pentacles, I feel your heart wants partnership in a very grown way. You do not only want chemistry, you want cooperation, consistency, and someone who can actually build with you. So your side of this message is very important. You are not waiting for pretty words. You are waiting for matching effort. Let us look at what you are feeling overall, because I feel your emotions are more layered than people realize. Here is the Page of Cups reversed, and the Six of Wands and the Unknown card. With the Page of Cups reversed, I feel your tenderness is sheltered right now. You may still care, but you do not want to spill your heart open without seeing whether they are truly serious. With the Six of Wands, though, I feel this person's attention still affects you. The idea of them choosing you openly matters because some part of you has wanted to feel fully seen and fully claimed. And then with the Unknown card, I feel your emotional world around them is difficult even for you to map cleanly. There is wonder here. There is caution here. There is deep feeling, but also a real desire not to lose yourself. Let us clarify that Page of Cups reversed. And wow, here is Judgment and the King of Wands. So I feel you have been trying to stand in your strength, trying to let your dignity lead, even when your softer feelings are very alive underneath. That tells me something important about why you are perfect for them. You are not only lovable because you are warm, you are lovable because you have depth, standards, and emotional intelligence. You are not easy in the shallow sense. You are rich. You are feeling. You are thoughtful. And I feel that is exactly what their heart finally recognized. Let us get emotional cards on your side. Here is Discernment and Self-Respect. Wow, discernment tells me you have learned how to listen to your intuition without abandoning your boundaries. Self-respect tells me you are no longer willing to receive confusion as though it were devotion. This matters deeply because your energy may be one of the reasons they came to this realization. You did not collapse yourself trying to make them choose you. You stayed true to yourself, and that truth showed them your value. For some of you, they needed to see that you were not going to live on scraps. They needed to feel the difference between access and distance to understand what your presence really meant. Let us hear your inner voice. Here is I want something that feels chosen, not uncertain. And here is I can love deeply, but I need honesty to feel safe. Well, yes, that is the center of your side. You are not unavailable. You are simply no longer willing to abandon your own heart to keep someone else comfortable. Let us also look at the unseen beauty in you that this person may have finally recognized. Here is the Queen of Cups and the Star. Beautiful. The Queen of Cups tells me your love is not performative. It is deep, real, intuitive, and able to hold another person in a very healing way. And the Star says there is something quietly luminous about you. You may not even realize how strongly people feel your sincerity, your softness, or your emotional honesty when they are near you. So why are you perfect for them? Because you bring both warmth and truth. Because you are not only attractive, you are emotionally alive. Because your heart has tenderness, but it also has wisdom, and that combination is rare. And I also feel that your love would not feel chaotic to the right person. It would feel like home. It would feel like being known. It would feel like finally being met in the right way. This section is not about them speaking yet. This section is about your value, your emotional structure, and why their heart finally landed where it did. It landed on you because you are not a temporary lesson. You feel like someone who could be loved for a lifetime. That is the difference here. You do not only spark their heart, you fit it completely. You feel like the answer to a question they did not know how to ask before. Now let us go fully into their realization, because this is where the message becomes unmistakable. What changed, what clicked, and what finally made them say to themselves, "This is my true love." Here is the Emperor and the Two of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Wow. So this person has been trying to stay composed while their heart has been doing something much bigger than composure. With the Emperor, I feel they like to think of themselves as steady and in control. They may not enjoy feeling emotionally overtaken, and they may have tried very hard to look unaffected from the outside. But then the Two of Cups appears. And that tells me what they feel is not random desire, not convenience, and not passing attraction. This is recognition. This is emotional pairing. This is the sense that something between you belongs in the category of true bond, not temporary interest. And then with the Knight of Wands, I feel the energy of movement pressing under the surface. They may have been still on the outside, but inside I feel they have been increasingly restless about what they feel. So what is the realization? It is this: they are no longer able to honestly call this anything less than love. Let us clarify the Emperor. And wow, here is the Sun and the Nine of Cups. The Sun says your presence lights them up in a way they cannot fake or diminish. There is something about you that lifts their inner atmosphere immediately. And the Nine of Cups says the feeling of you in their life is deeply satisfying to them. You are not only someone they want, you are someone who actually feels right inside their world. That is an enormous difference, because people can crave many things, but they do not feel soul-level relief with many people. You are not only heat to them, you are ease, brightness, and a kind of emotional fulfillment that keeps proving itself over time. Let us go deeper into what they feel overall. Here is the Magician and the Six of Swords and the Moon. With the Magician, I feel they have been trying to regulate their expression. They may have chosen careful signals, limited words, or even silence just to avoid showing how much this has grown. With the Six of Swords, I feel they have tried to calm themselves. They may have hoped the feeling would settle into something easier if they waited long enough. But then the Moon tells the real story. The Moon says the deeper they went inward, the more undeniable the truth became. There is yearning here. There is emotional attachment here. There is the kind of inner pull that returns at night, in solitude, and in the spaces where performance stops working. For some of you, they have had dreams, imagined futures, or private conversations in their head with you. For others, it is simply that you keep returning to their emotional center no matter how much they try to redirect themselves. Let us get more emotional cards on them. Here is recognition and surrender. Wow, recognition tells me the realization did not come from logic alone. It came from repeated emotional evidence. They kept feeling your importance no matter what story they tried to tell themselves, and surrender says something else. It says they are getting tired of arguing with the truth of their own heart. Let us hear the hidden inner voice around this realization. Here is I cannot keep calling this something smaller than it is, and here is I know now that what I feel for you is love. Well, yes, that is it right there. This person may have started with uncertainty. They may have questioned timing, compatibility, fear, or what this would mean for their life. But I feel something matured inside them. And once that maturity arrived, the truth simplified instead of becoming more confusing. That is what real realization does. It does not create more noise, it creates inner clarity. Let us also look at why they are saying you are perfect for me. Here is the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. That tells me they see in you a very rare combination. You feel emotionally deep, but not chaotic. Soft, but not weak. Loving, but not ungrounded. You feel like someone who could hold both heart and life with them. That matters immensely to this person because I do not feel they are only looking for intensity anymore. They are looking for the person who actually matches their soul and their future. And the realization is that for them, that person is you. This part is not about what they do yet. This part is about the fact that the inner naming has already happened. They have named the feeling, they have named your place, they have named your importance. And once that naming happens, honestly, the rest of the story cannot stay the same because now they know what this is, and knowing changes everything that comes after. The heart has decided before the mouth has spoken. That is why the energy feels different now. They are no longer searching for truth. They are living inside it already now. Now let us look at why this is happening now, because the timing matters just as much as the feeling. The heart may have known for a while, but something specific is pushing this realization into motion. Now here is the High Priestess and the Five of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Wow. So the timing is coming from the collision between hidden truth, inner pressure, and the need for something real. With the High Priestess, I feel the bond has lived in silence for too long. There has been knowing without naming, sensing without saying, and a great deal felt without enough form around it. With the Five of Wands, I feel all of that inward pressure has been creating emotional conflict. They may have argued with themselves, doubted themselves, or tried to outthink what their heart already settled. And with the King of Pentacles, I feel the breaking point is this. They do not want to keep something this meaningful floating without structure anymore. So why now? Because what they feel has moved beyond mystery and begun asking for form. Let us get more on what deepened it. Here is the Six of Cups. And the Star. Wow. The Six of Cups tells me there is a sweetness and familiarity here that stayed with them. Something about you felt emotionally natural in a way they could not manufacture or dismiss. And then the Star says you also awaken future in them. Not only desire, not only comfort, but hope. Hope that love could feel clean. Hope that connection could still be something healing, something right, something worth building around. When emotional familiarity and future hope meet in the same person, the heart changes course. That is what happened here. Let us look at what finally made the realization impossible to ignore. Here is the Ace of Swords, and the Page of Swords. This tells me awareness sharpened. They may have noticed the way they kept returning to thoughts of you, checking in on you, or mentally circling the connection no matter what else was happening. Page of Swords says the mind stayed fixed. Ace of Swords says the truth cut through the noise. The moment of clarity may have come quietly, not necessarily in a huge dramatic event, but in a very clear internal sentence. Something like, this is not going away, or I need to stop pretending this person is replaceable. Let us go deeper into the timing trigger. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, the wheel says the season itself is changing. Something karmic has ripened, something that could be delayed before now reaches a point where delay no longer fits. This is why the message feels so exact, finally realized, not maybe, not might realize, finally realized. So what does finally mean here? It means the truth was taking shape for a while, but now it has reached completion inside them. Let us get emotional cards on the now factor. Here is inevitability and readiness. Inevitability tells me the heart can no longer honestly return to the old story. Readiness tells me the soul has caught up to what the feelings have known for some time. That is powerful because it means the shift is not superficial. It is integrated. Let us hear the hidden voice around the timing. Here is I know now what this is, and I know I cannot keep standing still. And here is I have run out of reasons to call this something else. Wow, yes, that is the now factor. They may have used fear before, they may have used timing, distance, caution, or confusion as explanations. But I feel those explanations are collapsing now because the heart has become clearer than the defenses. Let us look at the unseen truth underneath perfect for me. Here's the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups says they see emotional truth in you. The Ace of Pentacles says they now want to make that truth tangible. So why now? Because loving you quietly is no longer enough for the kind of feeling they are carrying. This section is not yet the move itself. This section is the bridge from realization into action. The bridge says this: the bond got too real to stay abstract, the truth got too clear to stay unnamed, and the heart got too certain to stay passive. That is what changed. And that is why the energy around you feels different now. For some of you, you may have noticed it before any external sign appeared. You may have felt a stronger pull, a sharper inner knowing, or a sense that the connection was suddenly waking back up. That is because inward timing shifted before outward timing did. And now the outer layer is catching up. So if you asked why now, the answer is simple. Because their heart has reached the point where silence no longer matches the truth. And once truth stops matching silence, movement begins. That is why the whole atmosphere changes here. They are no longer standing outside the feeling. They are standing inside it with both eyes open and no way to honestly turn away. Now, let us look at what they are about to do, because this is where the reading turns from feeling into movement. The message is not only that they realized it, the message is that realization is pushing them toward an offer. Here is the Two of Wands and the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Cups. Wow. So planning is turning into action, and action is being driven by very real feeling. The Two of Wands says they have thought about this carefully. They have imagined the approach, the timing, and the possible response. The Knight of Swords says the pace changes once they commit internally. What took a long time to form may move much faster once they decide to stop holding back. And the Ace of Cups tells me the action is not performative. It comes from real emotional overflow, real tenderness, and a genuine desire to begin something new with you. So, what is the offer? I feel it is something that makes the connection unmistakably more official than before. For some of you, this is a direct confession. For some, it is an invitation into real partnership. For others, it is a clear statement that they want to be with you in a named and visible way. Let us get more on the shape of the offer. Here is the Ace of Pentacles. And the Page of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles says this is tangible. It is not only an emotional spill, it is something you can respond to, hold, or step into. The Page of Wands says the opening may begin in a bright and warm tone. They may start with enthusiasm, charm, or a simpler entry point before the deeper truth comes fully forward. That is important because the outside may look lighter than the inside at first. But that does not mean the offer is light. It means they are trying to find the cleanest way to bridge into something much bigger. Let us go deeper. Here is the Eight of Wands and the Fool. Wow. The Eight of Wands says once the line opens, momentum builds quickly. The Fool says they are willing to risk a fresh beginning rather than keep living in private certainty. So yes, the move may surprise you not only because it happens, but because of the speed that follows once it begins. Let us clarify the emotional intention under the offer. Here is the Two of Cups and the King of Pentacles. The Two of Cups says they want mutuality, not only release. The King of Pentacles says they want something real enough to stand on, not just a moment of emotional bravery. That combination is beautiful because it means the offer is not only about saying, I love you, it is also about saying, I want to build from that truth. I want this to take shape. I want this to become lived. Let us get hidden messages around the action. Here is I need you to know where I stand. And here is I do not want to lose any more time pretending this is unclear. Wow. Yes, that belongs here exactly. This person may have waited too long already. And I feel they know that on some level, that is why the offer carries weight. It is not only affection finally spoken, it is delayed truth catching up with the present. Let us get more on the official tone. Here's the Hierophant again. Wow. So yes, I absolutely feel the desire to define this. They may want labels, public clarity, or a more formal agreement about what you are to one another. For some of you, this could be the first real conversation about exclusivity. For others, it may be the moment they stop treating this like possibility and start treating it like decision. Let us hear the confession layer under the offer. Here is I do not want to keep you in uncertainty. And here is I want to choose you in a way you can feel wow. Yes, that is exactly the difference between vague feeling and real offer. They do not only want the truth to exist inside them, they want you to experience it. So what will shock you? I feel it is the combination of warmth, certainty, and substance. You may have expected one of those things, maybe two, but all three together land differently. Warmth without certainty is not enough. Certainty without tenderness is hard. Substance without heart feels cold. But this offer carries all three, and that is why it feels shocking rather than merely romantic. Let us get one more set of cards here. Here is the Chariot and the Star. The Chariot says forward motion with direction. The Star says hope, healing, and the sense that the future opens once this truth is spoken. So the offer is not random. It is aligned, it is purposeful, and it is arriving because their heart is done staying behind the walls it built. This part is the action part. And the action says they are going to make the hidden visible, the emotional tangible, and the undefined official. They are not only feeling this, they are moving it toward form now. This is the first time their inner certainty and outer behavior really match. And when that happens, the whole connection changes tone because what was felt inwardly is finally given a real place between you now. Now, let us close this out with the future tone, the guidance, and the final message around what happens after the offer lands. Because once someone realizes you are their true love, the question becomes how that truth changes the path between you. Here is the Lovers and the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Wow, that spread is very clear. The bond is real, the inner journey has been long, and breakthrough wants daylight. With the Lovers, I feel there is a soul level choice here. It is a meaningful alignment asking to be honored. With the Hermit, I feel both of you have spent time inward, thinking, reassessing, and learning what your own truth is before anything more official could happen. And then the Ace of Swords says revelation, clarity, naming, truth, and the end of the old fog that kept the bond in uncertainty. So the future tone does not feel vague. It feels like honesty reshaping the connection. Let us get more on that. Here's the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords. The Six of Cups tells me there is still sweetness at the core of what lies between you. There is fondness, emotional familiarity, and the feeling that something precious has remained alive even through distance or uncertainty. And the Page of Swords tells me the mind has stayed engaged, watching, wondering, remembering, and returning to the connection, no matter what else was going on. All right, so let us see the most likely next energy after the offer. Here is the Fool and the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups. Wow, this looks like a fresh chapter that begins with movement and then deepens into mutual exchange. The Fool says new beginning. The Page of Wands says lively opening. The Two of Cups says emotional meeting. So yes, I feel the connection changes shape after this. It moves out of the old realm of sensing and into a more direct shared space. For some of you, this means a conversation turns into something official quickly. For others, it means the first opening leads to a bigger understanding of what the connection actually is. Let us get final hidden messages for them. Here is I want this to be real in both our lives. For you, here is I need sincerity more than spectacle. And for both of you, here is this is not over, this is opening. Wow. That gathers the whole reading together beautifully. One heart finally naming the truth. One heart careful, but willing to listen. Both hearts still deeply connected. So what is the guidance for you? Here is the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. The guidance is to stay emotionally wise without shutting down your ability to receive. You do not need to chase. You do not need to collapse your boundaries, and you do not need to deny what your intuition has known. Let the offer show you what it is. Let the actions reveal the maturity under the feeling. Because that is the real test now, not whether there is emotion, but whether the emotion can live in reality with steadiness. Let us get one more message of guidance. Here is there are infinite resources available to me. That tells me do not receive from scarcity. Do not let old fear decide what is acceptable now. Receive from self-respect, receive from clarity. Receive from the part of you that knows what honest effort feels like, and now let us get the final thing they would say if they were standing in front of you. I know now what you are to me. I know you are not temporary in my life. I know I cannot keep reducing you into smaller words just because I feared how big this felt. I have tried to stay measured, but my heart stopped being measured a while ago. You fit me in a way I did not expect. And now that I see it, I cannot unsee it. I do not want to keep standing outside this truth. I want to stand inside it and let you see me there. I want to choose you in a way that feels real. I want the love I feel to have shape and meaning in the world between us. I know this may change everything, but I also know pretending it is smaller would be a lie. And I feel like that is the truth here. Not polished, not dramatic, just deeply true. So yes, they finally realized you are their true love. And yes, the realization is moving toward a more official expression, not away from it. This closing section is not only confirmation, it is a reminder that love grows strongest when courage makes it visible. That is what is changing here. The choice is becoming visible. And that is why the message lands so strongly, because the heart has already chosen. And now the life around it is trying to catch up. For some of you, the pace may still require patience. For others, it may move faster than expected. But either way, the old uncertainty has been broken, the truth has been named, and named truth changes the path. So let your heart stay open enough to recognize what is real, and let your wisdom stay awake enough to ask for consistency after the beautiful words arrive. That is the balance. That is the blessing. Because once someone realizes you are their true love, the question becomes how that truth changes the path between you. Here is the Lovers and the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Wow, that spread is very clear. The bond is real, the inner journey has been long, and breakthrough wants daylight. With the Lovers, I feel there is a soul-level choice here. It is a meaningful alignment asking to be honored. With the Hermit, I feel both of you have spent time inward, thinking, reassessing, and learning what your own truth is before anything more official could happen. And then the Ace of Swords says revelation. Clarity, naming, truth, and the end of the old fog that kept the bond in uncertainty. So the future tone does not feel vague. It feels like honesty reshaping the connection. Let us get more on that. Here's the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords. The Six of Cups tells me there is still sweetness at the core of what lies between you. There is fondness, emotional familiarity, and the feeling that something precious has remained alive even through distance or uncertainty. And the Page of Swords tells me the mind has stayed engaged, watching, wondering, remembering, and returning to the connection, no matter what else was going on. All right, so let us see the most likely next energy after the offer. Here is the Fool and the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups. Wow, this looks like a fresh chapter that begins with movement and then deepens into mutual exchange. The Fool says new beginning. The Page of Wands says lively opening. The Two of Cups says emotional meeting. So yes, I feel the connection changes shape after this. It moves out of the old realm of sensing and into a more direct shared space. For some of you, this means a conversation turns into something official quickly. For others, it means the first opening leads to a bigger understanding of what the connection actually is. Let us get final hidden messages for them. Here is I want this to be real in both our lives. For you, here is I need sincerity more than spectacle. And for both of you, here is this is not over, this is opening. Wow. That gathers the whole reading together beautifully. One heart finally naming the truth. One heart careful, but willing to listen. Both hearts still deeply connected. So what is the guidance for you? Here is the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. The guidance is to stay emotionally wise without shutting down your ability to receive. You do not need to chase. You do not need to collapse your boundaries, and you do not need to deny what your intuition has known. Let the offer show you what it is. Let the actions reveal the maturity under the feeling. Because that is the real test now, not whether there is emotion, but whether the emotion can live in reality with steadiness. Let us get one more message of guidance. Here is there are infinite resources available to me. That tells me do not receive from scarcity. Do not let old fear decide what is acceptable now. Receive from self-respect, receive from clarity. Receive from the part of you that knows what honest effort feels like, and now let us get the final thing they would say if they were standing in front of you. I know now what you are to me. I know you are not temporary in my life. I know I cannot keep reducing you into smaller words just because I feared how big this felt. I have tried to stay measured, but my heart stopped being measured a while ago. You fit me in a way I did not expect. And now that I see it, I cannot unsee it. I do not want to keep standing outside this truth. I want to stand inside it and let you see me there. I want to choose you in a way that feels real. I want the love I feel to have shape and meaning in the world between us. I know this may change everything, but I also know pretending it is smaller would be a lie. And I feel like that is the